my name is Kelsey and I am a book addict, and today I will be doing a book review for The Host by Stephanie Meyer. So if you are not familiar with the author Stephanie Meyer, she is the author of the Twilight saga, which includes Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I read all of those books, and I'm ashamed to say, as soon as I picked this one up, I started comparing it to Twilight. I personally don't like to compare books to other books from the same author, as well as movies to the book itself. And however, every time I read a book or watch a movie based on a book, I find myself judging it based on its past, basically. But I guess you shouldn't judge a book by its author. I did not like the Twilight series, and I didn't think they were well written. I didn't think they had a good story. I felt like the story definitely got off point as the books went along. But I was pleasantly surprised by The Host. This book is about Melanie, who lives in a society where aliens are on Earth. And these aliens take over specific planets, and they feel like they're doing good. But, of course, they're destroying the people and the planets while they're there. So Melanie ends up getting caught by the aliens and becomes a host to an alien named the Wanderer, which is later nicknamed Wanda. And however, as the book goes on, not very far into the book, however, Wanda begins having doubts about her alien society, and Melanie, who refused to go away and is still inside her own mind with the Wanderer, or Wanda, begins to guide her to the people she was with before she was caught by the aliens and became a host. So I really did enjoy this book. It's 600 and... hold on. 619 pages. And I read it in 6 days. Not constant reading, however. If I would have been constantly reading it, I probably could have read it in half the time. I felt like it had a fast pace. It had not a ton of action, but it had enough that I would like it. It has romance, it has comedy, it has action, adventure, science fiction. It's about aliens. I mean, come on. Of course there's science fiction in it, but it's a good book, okay? If you didn't like the Twilight series, if you don't like Stephanie Meyer's writing style, just throw that out of your mind, because this was a big leap from Twilight in terms of her writing. It doesn't seem as childish. It's enjoyable. It's supposed to be an adult novel, but I definitely saw it more as a YA novel. It more appeals to a younger crowd, honestly, than an adult novel would. So that, I guess, will do it for my non-spoiler portion. If you don't want to get the book spoiled, then you might want to jump away from this video. If you have read the book or watched the movie and you know how it ends, then go ahead and stick around, because I am going to spoil it from here on. So, just warning. Go ahead. Okay. Ready? Okay. So, I didn't like the ending. The only reason I didn't like the ending was because of... okay, they had her meet with another alien at the end, and they, if you want to know the spoiler of the ending, she goes through this whole book trying to figure out a way to help Melanie live while she doesn't die, because her biggest fear through the whole book is dying. While she's, you know, kissing that guy and kissing the other guy and watching out for Melanie's younger brother, she's worried about dying through the whole thing. And that kind of got a little boring. Every page it would be, oh, I'm gonna die today, I'm gonna die tomorrow, they're coming to kill me. And that's one of my big about the book.
They're coming to kill me, and that's one of my big about the book. they're coming to kill me, and that's one of my big issues about the book.
But in the end, she wants to die. She's been to like 9 planets, and she finds a way to be able to get Melanie back her body while, being able to stay alive, so she can save all these humans on the planet but get rid of the aliens, but not killing them like the scientists in the book had been doing, because they were trying to save the human race, but in the process they would kill the alien and the human. But of course Wanda knew the way to extract the alien without killing either of them. So she tells the doctor this and says, but if we do this, I don't want you to send me to another planet. I want to die. You can just bury me in the ground with my friends who have died, And he agrees, but of course, nobody wants her to die. So she wakes up in a new body, and they go out on a search for more supplies or aliens or something like that, and this is right at the end, like the last few pages, the last chapter, and end up running into another group of survivors, and they find out there are more people like Wanda who when they entered the host, realized, alien life isn't as great, I guess, as we thought it was, because we like being able to feel emotions. We like, this, that, and the other thing. And so there's more like Wanda out there. There's not just her. And I'm worried because I found out they're making a second, and she's making a second and a third one called something like that, The Seeker and the Soul. And I'm worried they're going to introduce a love triangle in the second book. There was a love square as it is, because when Wanda entered Melanie's body, she got all of her emotions. So Melanie was in love with a man named, doesn't say his name, hold on. Jared. Melanie was in love with Jared. And so as soon as Wanda entered her mind or body or whatever, she fell in love with Jared. And so was mostly her main reason for wanting to go see these humans, was to see Jared and of course Melanie's younger brother. And but when she gets there, a boy named Ian, well, I guess they're men because they're 20 something, but a man named Ian ends up falling in love with Wanda, and she fights him on it, of course, because Melanie doesn't feel that emotion for Ian. So Wanda technically does not feel that emotion for Ian. She feels whatever emotions Melanie feels, and if Melanie hates Ian, then she hated Ian. She tells Ian, oh, if, you saw my body, my real body, you would be disgusted, because they're like these little blue things with a ton of like legs. They're almost like a centipede, but almost like made out of light, I guess. And you could hold them in your hand is what it says. And she says, you don't love me for who I actually am, you love me for my body. And but he denies it. And so she fights him on this whole relationship thing, but in the end, he gets to transport her into a new body, and he got to hold her actual body in his hand, and they were in love at the end, and Melanie got to be with Jared, and Wanda got to be with Ian, and I liked that. It didn't continue. I mean, Wanda still felt, pings, whatever you want to call it, of feeling for Jared, because she had felt that in Melanie's body. But I liked, you know, how the relationships ended. The only thing I didn't like about the relationships is at times, like, the main complaint of the Twilight books were that it felt almost stalkerish, or that Edward or Jacob or whoever, you know, was a little harsh to Bella. And that showed through in this book as well. They would like, the guys would like pull, you know, they just seemed very pushy and shovey, and I don't know why Stephanie Meyer makes all of the love interests to be more physical, rough, or rude, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, to the female they're in love with, but I really did not enjoy that part of the book. I did not like the characters like that, you know, but half the time they would be fine, you know, but other times it was just like way too rough. And I know they're book characters, but I get so protective of my book characters, and I know I'm not the only one. But let's see what else. I think that's pretty much everything, honestly. I can't think of any other issue or concern that I had with the book. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. I would give it probably 4.5 stars if I had to give it a rating on a star scale. But I recommend this to anyone, honestly. It's bigger, so if bigger books daunt you, then don't read it. I mean, that's up to you. If you've seen the movie, in comparison to the movie, it's different. There's a lot more action in the movie than there is in the book. She goes out on more raids in the movie and goes to get more supplies, and there's that whole fight scene with the cars and the shooting and stuff. Never happens in here. The only time she confronts the lady with the blonde hair, white suit in the movie, I believe, is when she shows up where they live, and nobody believed her that she was there, and all they did was take the alien out of the woman's body, and, you know, and she found out through that she had been alive in the body as well. I guess that's kind of a little confusing, but it's a confusing concept, honestly. I felt like some of the things could have been described a little better. The beginning was boring to me. I couldn't wait because I knew what was going to happen. I've seen the movie before I read the book, and I knew what was going to happen, but I felt like they took way too long to get through the part of her leaving her alien brotherly community area. But other than that, yeah, 4.5 stars on this book. So thank you for watching my book review of The Host. Let me know if you read the book down below and what you thought about it, and I will see you next time. Bye.